My name's Mark Bachand. I'm a grandson of Frank Bachand. I understand that Frank and Mary Bachand came from, I know they came from the river out there, but they were here when they had the first parade. I guess the archives would prove that. But my dad pulled it for after my granddad quit and moved to town. And then my dad passed away, and then I took it over, and for like 30 years, and then Mike took it after that. My dad was really a historian. He lived history because he had workhorses. He was the last one in the area to have workhorses, and every day he loved to drive horses, and he was a hard worker, and it went together. You know, you gotta. If you live it, then you can give it. You know, that's what he done. He come up here and I got some photos and stuff, you know, to show you guys. But it's really it's great that this name has been in here this many years. You know, I just have to thank my forefathers for this. You know, I'm just my significance is just smaller than a kernel of sand, you know, but I really feel my forefathers were the ones that really brought this here and kept it going. It's traditional, you know, and so I'll let Mike.
I'm Mike Bachand, and Frank and Mary were my grandparents, and I know that in the early days, Grandpa Frank brought cows and calves and horses up here so they would have livestock to use in the rodeo. And we used to trail horses from 30 miles east of Sturgis to here. I only got to do that twice, and I'm sure Mark did it a lot. And you know, everybody, I think all of Grandpa's kids at some time or another have drove this coach a little. I know that Dad didn't do it for very long. My dad was Oscar. Uncle Ezra did it for 40 years. Mark's done it for 30 years. This is my 20th year. So we've, you know, Grandpa and the other brothers, which would have been Oscar and Ralph, they didn't do a lot of this. Uncle Ezra, Mark's dad, he came here every year for 40 years. And it's just it's an honor for me to be doing this, following in Mark's footsteps. Mark's always been my hero. I don't know if he knows that or not, and my Uncle Ezra was too, and my dad also, but we've just always came. I remember one year we were here, there was over 50 head of horses here just from the Bachand family, Grandpa Frank's descendants. And every year it's been one of his boys or one of his grandchildren that have done this. And we're hoping to keep it going for as long as I can do it, you know.
Yeah, I think that one year was 1943 when my granddad was here for the coach, and my dad was here, and his dad was here, and another brother, Ralph, was here. Grandpa Frank Bachand and his three sons all had horses in the parade up here. I think it was 1943. I don't know how much longer it will go, but it was a day at a time.
This coach here actually was on the Cheyenne to Deadwood stage route. They used this coach back in the
Summer stage.
Yeah.
Summer stage.
Yeah. And this coach made that trip several times.
I think they even went to Cheyenne with this.
Yeah.
I think they probably, between here and Cheyenne, they used to years ago. Yeah, yeah.
It was on the Cheyenne to Deadwood stage route. And there's 3 different routes that come into Deadwood. And they're all still there, and you can still travel on them if you know where they're at, which is kind of hard to find. But they quit pulling this coach.
I don't know.
I think it was 2004 because this coach can't be replaced. It's the only one left that anybody knows of that's still pullable. There's others, but they're not in good enough shape to pull. So I try to keep track of what's going on with this and everything, but it's kind of hard to find out sometimes because there's not a lot of records of when this coach was in operation, this particular one. But it has bullet holes in it from the stage robberies. Yeah. And when Mark was driving it, it was Mark never pulled the new one. I don't think, no, you never pulled the new one. There is a replica of this Stagecoach, and that's the one we use for this celebration now.
This was my dad with one of his mares that he raised at home. And this is the way he was. He'd come to Deadwood like this too, with whiskers and bibs or without bibs, you know, but he lived history, you know. There's my granddad right there. And I think it's probably Oscar with him, I think probably. Then this here, we was talking about when they were all here, 1943. There's Frank Bachand.
There's Frank.
Yeah.
There's Oscar.
There's Oscar. There's Ezra right there.
There.
And there should be a Ralph in there too. They all were here at the Deadwood with these horses for the parade. This is when he, in 1949, this is my dad over here driving, and but they put this on the cover of the Days of 76 program in 1949. He's got them wound up too. Over here, that's part of that program, and then here's the other part right here. 26th annual, it says. This is Dad again, coming back from the parade. Okay, this is, they had a snow fence in front of the grand arena. They used to do that. And this is Dad with the coach. That's many years ago. And here's another one, Dad. I took over this year. This is what, 72. See, my dad died in 71. In 72. So there's me, and they got a little story about, it says in here that something about the Bachands have been coming since 1923, they said. So then this is me. This is my father-in-law here, and this is in the parade. This here is coming into Deadwood during a stagecoach holdup. The stagecoach is in the historic events, and that's what they call it when they hold up. This is Mike's dad, and this is him on a bronc right here. That's pretty much Deadwood, you know.